And if you fuck up, man, me and you are done for good.
So then we done then.
But make sure you address the camera and put your sauce on it however you want to do it.
My sauce? Okay.
The L Train
You
sauce.
want my sauce on this.
Whenever you're ready.
Okay. Hi, my name is Lionel Train, and this is the Golden Hour.
Oh, keep going.
Blew it.
I messed up.
But we'll go with it. It's fine.
Yeah. I got it. Shorty gave me time for the culture. Hey, had to wake 'em up like it's Folgers. Hey, had to wake 'em up like it's Folgers. Hey, shorty gave me time for the culture. Hey, your boyfriend the eye.
Hike. So, excuse my burp also. Excuse my congested sinus today. I woke up like it. But nonetheless, I'm very excited about this episode because you are probably, and I'll give you a proper introduction to, the first person in terms of venue administration that I've had up here. But it's such a vital part of what goes on here, especially for opportunity for artists that, like, I feel like we're providing value. What do you think, Jack? I totally agree. Also, Jack's behind the camera.
Shout out to Jack.
Jack's a great guy. Nonetheless, before Golden Deer hit Boston, Lionel doesn't even know this, but I checked in at the Middle East not once, not twice, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, but 7 times looking for him.
I believe it.
I swear to God.
I believe it.
And I would take a picture every time. I mean, because I know your email probably gets so jammed up, right?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, your email's probably crazy backed up. I was like, probably the only way that I'll be able to actually make contact is if I just somehow see him in person. That's kind of what happened, I think, right?
I think it is what happened, yeah, if I remember correctly.
And then, more than anything, actually, oh, here, the proper intro. This is Lionel Train. He's a great guy. He's a booking agent at the Middle East. And before Golden Deer officially hit Boston, he was probably the first person I met in Boston that was a really good dude.
Thank you, man. Thank you for saying that.
Absolutely, man. Nonetheless, when I checked in first at the Middle East, you're like, yeah, let's talk about like your show. And I was like, okay, yeah, sure, we'll talk about it. And so I told you know how I fast?
Yeah.
So this was like I wasn't thinking like big business, right? And so he was like, yeah, let's have some lunch. And so he offered to buy me lunch, Jack. And I was like, nah, man, I'm fasting. And he like looked at me, he's like, this kid's a fruit, man. But then I realized I was like, actually, no, maybe I should eat lunch because like that's how people bond over shit is eat. Do you remember that?
You know, I vaguely remember that.
I remember you looked at me like, what? Like, I'm offering you free lunch.
Fasting is good, though. It's actually good for you.
It's great.
Yeah.
Jack fasts every day. That's
Every day?
Oh, every single. Well, we don't fast. So I intermittent fast. We don't fast like 6 days without food. It's like
right.
I eat within like a 6-hour period every day.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's kind of. Holidays are tough. Yeah. How was your holiday? Good.
It was good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Kids were happy, so as long as they're happy, I'm good.
I know, man. That was one thing you also, because now everyone we're around has kids. That's like
You're next.
Don't say that. But you're like, man, my responsibilities are much different than you. I have like kids I have to take care of and provide for.
This is true. Yeah.
Do you remember what it was like not having kids and like?
Man,
you just think so much different, right?
Yeah, you have to totally change your perspective.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think about it a lot, but every now and then I kind of think back to when I didn't have kids.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm very thankful. Kids are a blessing.
Don't curse us, man. That's the last thing we need. Well. So when you started as a promoter before you had kids,
yes.
Because I remember I asked you your come up story. I was like, how did this like happen?
Right.
You were initially a bouncer.
Yes. So I'll try to make it brief, but
No. I mean, we got time, man.
So the first show that I ever saw, like live concert in Boston, believe it or not, was this band called Missile Thrush, and they played downstairs Middle East. I had just moved back home from Michigan. I was there for about a year and a half. It didn't work out.
For school?
I went there to follow a girl, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you still see her?
No.
No.
But so that didn't work out, and I was coming back home to kind of restart my life, and my brother had invited me to the Middle East, and he knew that I loved music. We went to see the Downstairs.
And you're initially from Boston?
Yes, I grew up in Chelsea, and then until I was about 14, and then we moved to Somerville.
Oh, word. Okay.
Yeah.
So you've known forever that the Middle East is like that spot.
Honestly, man, I would see the name around, but I didn't really pay a lot of attention to it.
Yeah.
Because it was everything I would see would be like DJs and this or names I didn't recognize. I was more a mainstream kind of person, not necessarily like local music.
You're no longer mainstream though.
No longer mainstream. No, definitely not. Not with this.
No, with this rap. We hate this rap. And so then you come back from Michigan. How old are you?
So I think I was about 23, somewhere around
Word, okay.
23.
And then you're like, you go to a show with your brother?
Yeah. So my brother knew that I wasn't happy. Obviously, I was restarting. I was sleeping on my parents' couch. Didn't have my own place yet. And so he invited me out. We went to the Middle East Downstairs, and I fell in love.
Yeah.
First night.
With the venue or the music?
Everything. The music, the
That's
venue,
crazy.
the whole experience. I needed that. And that night, I remember talking to...
It was Missile Rush, you said?
Missile Thrush.
Thrush.
Yeah, Missile Thrush.
That's awesome.
So that night, I remember talking to... I remember thinking, oh, I want to work here. I can't wait to work here. So I started talking to somebody that worked there. I think it was a bouncer or something like that. And they said, oh, yeah, we'll take your number. And, well, if we're interested, we'll call you.
Yeah.
They called me like 1 or 2 days later and offered me a job.
Wow. And same management or way different management?
Same ownership, but different management. Like,
yeah.
There's probably like one person that still works there.
That has been there since you've been
there. That was there when I first started.
Well, yeah, I wonder if that's a reflection of just like venue management and music management in general. There's always just people moving.
Oh,
bam,
yeah.
Smack.
High turnover, yeah.
Yeah, you've seen it more than anyone. When during that first event downstairs, like what was it that you're just like, I love the vibe, like the feeling's awesome? Or because I'm gonna be honest, when I first went downstairs, and like I sound giddy as fuck, but like excuse my language, but I was like, wow, there's just like an energy down here which is like crazy because like clearly this place has seen tons of stuff.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Was it the same feeling back when you were my age?
I think it was. I think it was. It was the atmosphere.
I'm a young you.
I think you're a young me times 10, because I didn't have the energy and the focus that you have. Honestly, I had the desire, but I didn't have the energy or the focus or the vision. So I think that you have a lot more than I had at that age.
Yeah, but one thing I picked up on about you is, like you understand analytics, like really, to an insane level, which is like, I mean, you could work anywhere, honestly, with your analytical mind.
Thank you.
So I know we had talked about that too. Like, do you see you've worked at the Middle East, like how has your job changed? Has it changed?
That's a good question. So from being a promoter to...
Oh, well, start at the bouncer. So you went bouncer, then what?
So I was a bouncer for a little while, and I think I was there for like a year and a half. And towards the end of my time there, I started to try to do other positions because they told me that I was too nice to be a bouncer.
Well, being a bouncer is tough, man.
It is tough. It is a tough job. So they took me off the schedule for being a bouncer because I was quote unquote too nice.
Wait, what? You weren't like patting people down heavy, or like you're letting people in?
I think that at least at that time, you had to have like a certain mentality to be a bouncer, and
You had to be wicked aggressive.
I wouldn't say that you have to be wicked aggressive. I think in general, I'm just like a nice person. I'm not trying to.
Yeah, you're a great dude, man.
So like, for whatever reason, management at that time, they wanted someone that wasn't as nice.
Yeah.
And so, and they had a lot of security at that time. So they just took me off the schedule. and it was okay. It was I wasn't angry about it or anything like that. It was strange at first. I didn't understand it, but then I kind of.
So they fired you?
They didn't fire me. No, they didn't fire me because I was actually working in another department. So like they just didn't they didn't give me hours for security at that point.
And they promoted you where?
They didn't promote me. So basically, the Middle East has different departments.
Mm-hmm.
So I would take some shifts as a door person. I even tried my hand at working in the restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
I liked being a door person actually. The restaurant was cool, but it wasn't really for me. But around this time is when I started, really developing friendships and relationships with bands and promoters and labels. And, bands would start to ask me to manage them or book them. And so that started taking off. And then.
Do you think that's because of your demeanor? Like, you just kind of, like, you're on the ball kind of, and, like, you understand how business-wise things work? Do you think it's, like, people started picking up on that?
I think.
Or is it more just like, hey, I know you kind of need help. I kind of know how it works.
I think it's a combination of those things. That I think I was kind of at the right place at the right time. Not to be cliche or anything like that, but I had a hunger and a desire to want to be working in the music business, and there was an opportunity there, and bands, they also were looking for opportunity, so we kind of needed each other,
mm-hmm.
and so I kind of just started from the bottom at that point. Didn't have any training. Didn't go to school for that.
Yeah, but we both know you can't really go to school for that anyway.
No, not necessarily. No,
you can't go to school to learn people.
No, definitely not.
Absolutely not. If you believe it, at Providence College, I was the second worst marketing student.
Really?
In my degree.
I don't believe that.
I swear to God. I swear. Is that not true?
True.
Wow.
It doesn't really make sense, which is funny.
Yeah.
But so you progressed. You're managing a bunch of like smaller local Boston bands, correct?
Right.
And then you said, then I was a promoter. I could sleep in to any time I wanted, make money hand over fist.
Well, I didn't go there right away, but
Okay.
I started as a manager, and thrown into the fire, and I had to learn quickly how to do things. And one of the, there were certain people that came along the way that kind of like gave me good advice. Like one of them was Shred. I don't know if you know Shred. He was a DJ at BCN, and he was booking the Rock and Roll Rumble at that time when I first started, and he gave me good advice. It was like Mike Warner from Clear Channel gave me some good advice. Mickey Bliss, he books the.
I'm being honest, I'm not too familiar with most of these.
These are all
just
old
different
school
generation.
heads. Yeah, different generation. But I mean, along the way, I got some good advice and some opportunities,
Mm-hmm.
and so what bands they wanted me to do everything. As the manager, one of the main things they wanted me to do was book them shows, and so I would try to book shows. I would call all these venues, and what I was figuring out was that there was I wouldn't say a monopoly, but the way that it was set up where like, these DJs were booking these rooms, so you had to go to them. I thought I could just call the venue and book directly to the venue, but it wasn't like that. You had to go through a middle person.
Wait, so the DJ had some sort of hierarchy when it came to booking the space?
Back in those days, they did, yeah.
So what? It's like a DJ, like, this is my room. So, like, let's say DJ Jack, he had control over the Middle East upstairs type thing.
Yeah, so like you had like Mark Hamill from BCN back in those days was booking the downstairs. He's actually one of the people that when I first started working there, he was, he interviewed me. I think was that's how I got in there, and so like he was booking that room, and eventually like Shred was booking the upstairs, and then
That's crazy. So
it
that's
was
changed
weird.
completely.
It's changed now. Yeah, it's different. But back in those days, you couldn't just call the venue and say, "Oh, I want to play here." They would like direct you to somewhere else. I would call Don Law, and I was like, I want to book a show at here, and they're like, "Oh, talk to this DJ or talk to this person."
Wait, so DJs back then had. I wonder why they had more power.
I think because radio was bigger then. It was more.
Yeah,
involved.
I was gonna say it's kind of like jamming now. Like DJs in the '90s and early 2000s, like, were very popular.
Yeah.
And now everything's online, so it's shifted.
And these were rock DJs though. That's just I want to make a distinction there. It wasn't like hip hop or R&B DJs. These were rock DJs. Like BCN really was involved.
Is there a difference in job? So like, what would a rock DJ do?
Just the genre is the difference, really. So like,
But they're on turntables and stuff. A rock DJ?
no, they're DJs on the radio station.
Oh,
So,
okay.
right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Radio personalities, I should say.
Okay, so the radio DJ back then had his hand in shows, had his hand in the radio, and had his
Right.
hand in venue management as well.
Not venue management, but more so just the booking.
Yeah.
You know.
Wow.
But it made
That's changed a
It
lot.
makes sense because back then, radio was more popular than it is now,
Mm-hmm.
and it was more relevant to the local, local music and all that. So,
Well, yeah, that's one thing I learned. So we had this young woman named Kateria up here who was on Jam 94.5, and she said she had done 200 events in the last year, and I was like,
wow, it's a lot.
and she's on Jammin', which is like the premium network, and
Right.
so I'm like, wow, like the radio hustle is crazy, and it's been like that forever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So she's always out doing stuff, always talking to people, always on the radio. So that really hasn't changed much, I'm assuming.
Probably not. No.
You wouldn't think that. You would think that DJs are like, their one job is to just provide for the network. But you're talking, these DJs were making face to face with everybody, shaking everyone's hand.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they were like mini celebrities in the city for the most part.
I mean, keep in mind these venues they book national acts as well. So the DJs in the radio stations had direct contact with these acts.
Wow.
So that it made sense at the time for that to happen.
And so back to your life story. So you transition, you're a manager, right?
Right.
Picking up all this advice, and then what happens?
So I start to book shows, and email this person, email that person, no responses. So
This is what, early 2000s?
This is early 2000s, yeah. And then so finally I was able to get into smaller rooms that didn't really have those obstacles, and then as I booked shows, I realized that I needed to put the lineup together. It was easier if I just put a lineup together to do the show. If I just try to book the one band that I manage on a show, it's more cumbersome.
In smaller audience, I'm assuming.
Sure. It was more so availability of like getting on a show. So like if I contact the venue, they already have bands. Like so they're more likely to just like give you a date if they trust you and let you book the lineup. So I started to do that, and then I kind of transitioned from management to being a booking agent for bands, so just like booking them on shows.
So how did that work? You had a direct relationship with whoever's ever running the space?
I had a direct relationship with the bands that I was working with, and also a direct relationship with the people that booked, the particular venue.
So money-wise, how would that work?
So money-wise, initially, I was honestly in the beginning, I was doing everything without making any money, and I knew that was probably going to happen. And
Well, you got to
it was
meet
okay.
people and
Yeah, you have to kind of
establish yourself.
quote unquote pay dues. So, and that's something I also had to figure out because I didn't know like how to make
Splits
money
work
or
and-
how the bands could make money, and so basically initially bands depending on the kind of show it was, they would either make money based on their draw, or if it was like a guaranteed kind of show, then they would get money that way.
And so back then it was still the Middle East. That was still like the prevalent venue.
So the Middle East was kind of like the castle at the top of the hill. I hadn't even gotten there yet.
So what were the smaller venues? Was it like Lizard Lounge?
Smaller venues that I actually did shows in were like PA's Lounge.
I don't even know what that is.
PA's Lounge is in Somerville. They actually just changed their name. I think it's called Union Square Tavern or something.
Oh,
like that.
okay.
Yeah.
And they still do music over there?
They do, yep.
It was
O'Brien's was another one in Alston.
Oh, so you were really like doing small
I was doing
venues.
tiny venues, yeah.
What about, was Lansdowne Pub open?
It wasn't yet. No, Lansdowne Pub used to be called Jake Ivory's, and they had like a piano bar. So
But that's the type of venue you would try to book, correct?
No, because that was just all piano bar. Like Bill's Bar is where that's when I really got a bigger break, was Bill's Bar on Lansdowne Street.
Oh right,
Yeah,
Bills.
Bill's Bar was the main.
That was your spot.
Yeah, it started. PA's Lounge was like the first step really, and I did all their shows for a while, and then I moved on to Bill's Bar, doing almost all their shows for a little while.
How would you market back then without the internet?
Man,
Honestly.
I'm telling you, I mean, it was like flyers,
Oh my
posters,
God. Vix, imagine that.
email blasts, which you don't
Well,
really see
yeah, but
anymore.
people would read their emails back then more so, right?
I think so, yeah. But there's a lot of spam back then too. Too many emails.
I can't even. So you would really be like street to street, person to person, handing out flyers.
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, I mean, the bands really, honestly, bands are the ones that really
Would market.
the main one. My role really was more of an organizer, to be honest with you, because when you're talking about local music, it's hard to call yourself a promoter. But, you know, a lot of people use that term, but I don't necessarily agree that that's what it is. There are some people
Amen.
that are you're one of the people that actually are a promoter.
Ah.
I actually saw this like first person what you did for that we did a show together. Downstairs Middle East, and you were the promoter. You made that show.
Yeah, absolutely. But at the same time, I still had to wear 15 other hats.
You did, yeah.
And that's just the nature of anybody being a quote unquote organizer in
Right.
Boston. Like
Right.
you know. Sorry, did that blow your ears off?
Nah, it's good.
Yeah, I mean so back then I'm sure you were a promoter. I'm sure you were well to a certain
I thought
extent.
I was. Honestly, I was like, I'm a promoter, but honestly, I was just an event organizer.
Well, you know, there's a sleazeball connotation with the term promoter now, right? Just because there are
Some
a lot
people,
there are a
yeah.
lot of people who just they shortcut and they think it's like a quick way to make money.
Yeah, unfortunately, there are some people like that.
There's a ton. I mean,
Yeah.
that's why I don't. If we're doing an event or we're doing a show, I don't want to come across as a promoter, because, I mean, Bix, would you agree when you hear the term promoter, you think like, this guy's like a scumbag? It's actually for shows. It's actually different. Club promoters is, yeah, the business doesn't really make sense. Yeah, clubs are weird. Clubs are totally weird.
You mean like dance nights and stuff like that?
Yeah, like a downtown club or something. It's like I'm talking to a promoter. It's like, you know, they're not being fully transparent about what's going on.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
That's traditional. I think with concerts, there's more of a purity with it.
Yeah, club promoters. Nothing against club promoters, but
Yeah,
it seems like there's all like a lot of different sub promoters. Like there's like the main
Always.
person that's the direct contact to the venue or the artist, and then they have all these sub promoters underneath. So like everyone's a promoter at that point.
and I think another thing I realized, and I'm like very appreciative for you for this. Mind you, this was my first concert. You were very transparent with me about how the money worked, how I would make money, how you would make money, how the artist should make money. And I was like, okay, that's how you should do things. Because people get so scared about how money's going to work.
Right.
Just be like, yes, this is how this is going to work. And I appreciate you for that from it. Like with everything now, we're totally like that. We're just like, okay, this is how it works.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I mean, transparency is always the best way to go.
Absolutely.
It keeps everybody on the same page. It manages expectations.
Well, people get scared about money. There's just
Right.
you know, people think they're trying to steal from them. It's like, no one's trying to do that.
Right. Yeah. And you know, as a venue representative, we want to cultivate new talent. So when I met you, I already knew right off the bat that you were
This
gonna
kid's a
succeed.
spaz.
No, I knew you were going to succeed, and I knew that I needed to do whatever I could to help you get there. And by being transparent and being encouraging, and you know, giving you all the tools that you needed outside of what you already had, I feel like that helped make it work.
Sorry. Well, I'm definitely gonna get back to that, but sorry again. We deviate.
What is that?
It's my text update
Oh, okay.
on my laptop. All the sound through my laptop is playing
Them
through
girls
this.
trying to get at you.
Well, that was actually the studio. Oh, obligatory plug. Shout out to Phoenix Down, man. Thank you for having us. If you come in with whack tracks, you'll leave sounding like A Boogie with the hoodie. Right, Bix?
Wait, was that a diss to Boogie with a Hoodie?
No, you're leaving like you sound like a pro.
Oh,
if you
okay.
come in awful, you'll leave sounding great. you got to hear this guy's mix. You're like, whoa, what? He totally turned the song around.
Yeah, let's check some of that out later.
Absolutely. Wait, so I just want to make sure we get your whole story. And sorry, it's deviated a little bit. So you are now at the point. You need to write a book. Is what you need to do. You're now at the point where you're wearing a bunch of hats. More than anything, you're kind of like that go-to guy.
Yeah. But I was all local. I was only doing local music at that time. And so booking agent, trying to book one band on a show, that also was a little difficult. And so I realized I had to put the whole show together. And that's when I thought I was going to be a promoter at that point. But really, I was an event organizer, to be honest with you.
What's the distinction to you?
To me, promoter is like a person that handles all the promotion, or almost all the promotion, and is able to bring in a crowd on their own. So when you're looking at local acts, a lot of the people that are coming to see them are just their like family and friends and some fans.
We were actually at the Middle East last night.
Oh, cool.
We were upstairs last night, but yeah, the show was very similar, something like that.
Yeah, so like as a quote-unquote promoter, depending on the style of music, it's not necessarily easy to bring in a new crowd to see a local rock band.
Exactly.
If in certain styles of music, it's easier, like with like jam and funk bands, because there's like a core community of people that are looking to go to those kind of shows. But local bands really are the real promoters, man. Honestly, they're the ones that actually bring in the people. When you're talking about just a local show,
Yeah, absolutely.
not a national show. That's completely different. Now, if you're talking about like a national show, right? Whoever, like the person that's promoting that one, that's a promoter. Because that national act has real fans, and the person that's the promoter is marketing to them.
Absolutely.
And drawing them in, or bringing in some other newer fans.
So, back to the Lionel saga. We are in the early 2000s.
This is like early to mid.
You're a young hunk. All the girls love you.
No, not even.
Killing it.
Not even.
And then, so you're done. You're a show organizer, and then what?
And so I did that for a long time. I had Onslaught Entertainment was my company.
Whoa.
Onslaught, yeah. So I did that for a while, and like I said, I was doing.
This is
Bill's
like
Bar.
an every Friday night type thing.
Every weekend I had a show, almost every weekend.
It's the only way you can make money.
Weekends are the best. I mean, obviously everybody wants a weekend.
Well, I just mean consistency with the shows.
Right.
On your end, from like a money end, that's like the only way you could really make money off doing it.
If it was a weekend, yeah, it was the best. Yeah, I mean, I actually did initially. I was doing some Wednesdays and some Sundays. That's kind of like where I broke in. I did those at like Harper's Ferry.
Oh, word. Okay.
One. That's actually now Brighton Music Hall. It's
Yeah,
a different venue now. But
Crossroads bought it
they
or manage it.
they didn't buy it. I think they Harper's Ferry. I don't know all the details, but basically they took over that lease. Like somebody else owns that building.
Yeah.
I don't think they own the building, but I think they just rent it.
All I know is, obviously, I have interest in selling it to Paradise Rock Club at some point. I'm
That's Live Nation.
I'm gonna do it though. I'm gonna sell it out.
I love to see it, but
And you better be there.
I'll be there, sure. VIP.
I don't know in terms of time frame when it's gonna work, but it will work. But when I was checking in with them after our show, they were, the first thing they said is, okay, you're a local dude doing this.
Right.
Have you sold out the Middle East downstairs, or have you thrown a huge show, or have you done the Brighton? But they prioritized, I don't even know if it's based on venue. I actually think venue size, I think it's based on prestige. They prioritized the Middle East downstairs over Brighton. Were you aware of this?
Not necessarily, but I can understand that. Middle East downstairs has a lot of history. I mean, it's a dying breed.
It is. It's crazy.
It's an independent,
totally
owned,
independent.
Mid-sized venue. But also it's bigger than capacity is larger.
Like 100 larger, I think.
About thereabouts, yeah.
All right, so you're a hustler, cool. After Onslaught, what happens?
So after Onslaught, I I got my break into Bill's Bar. John Canale, shout out to John Canale.
Shout out John.
John Canale gave me a chance, and
Nice.
he believed in me and started doing shows there. Eventually, I was doing almost all their shows, mostly on the weekends, and I made the mistake of putting all my eggs in one basket, which I learned a hard lesson there.
Elaborate.
So basically, I was doing shows, Middle East upstairs and downstairs, seldomly. Shred gave me my first chance over there, and then I did some O'Brien shows here and there, and had just finished up at PA's Lounge. So then when Bill's Bar started giving me more and more dates, I kind of just started booking all my shows there. At that point, that was a big mistake because I didn't diversify, and so what happened was Bill's Bar ended up just suddenly, without notice, closing down.
So you're like, fuck.
Right. I was just about to have my son Adam was about to be born, and I get the email.
You're like, damn.
We're closing indefinitely.
And they didn't, no warning, nothing.
No warning. I mean, in hindsight, I should have saw the warning signs. I mean, they were renovating Jake Ivory's to make it to Lansdowne Pub.
I'm sure you saw like that. Was management less motivated towards the tail end?
Management. I mean, no disrespect to anybody.
Yeah, no. I mean, we just
appreciate
keep it
all
real up here.
Yeah, yeah. I appreciate all the opportunities I ever got over there. I think what was happening was they were so focused on. There's a lot of things happening on that street at that time. Like, you can look back at the history.
Something like the Red Sox probably just started winning too.
Red Sox were winning.
For those who don't know, Lansdowne is the street directly behind right field.
Right.
And it's like, because our friends, our kids our age, don't necessarily go there. It's usually like when you're like 25 to 28, you go to Lansdowne.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But that's like where Cask and Flagon is, House of Blues, Lansdowne Pub. What else am I missing? That sausage vendor.
That sausage vendor. So back in those days, right? I think Game On's over there too.
Game On, right?
So a lot of those venues that you just mentioned weren't there. This is the thing, right? So around this time is when a lot of changes were happening. A lot of, so that you had Axis and Avalon were the venues that were down there. It wasn't House of Blues. Mm-hmm. So you had Axis and Avalon. You had Jake Ivory's, which was right next door to Bill's Bar.
There's the bowling alley there too.
Lucky Strike.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So Bill's Bar was doing live music. Jake Ivory's was a piano bar. And Axis and Avalon were the national rooms for Live Nation. They were doing, almost all national acts. And at night, they would do these, DJ dance nights. So there was some drama that was happening on that street. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you guys remember.
I don't.
There was like people getting, there was some like fights, a lot of fights.
Oh, people were just like getting drunk and doing stupid shit.
Right. And then, there was repercussions for that to those venues. Not Bill's Bar, but because Bill's Bar was all, local live music, mostly small nationals here and there. But Axis and Avalon was bringing a lot of heat.
I'm sure.
The kind of clientele that was coming in there.
But it was rappers?
I wouldn't say it was rappers. It was really those from my memory, it was really those DJ nights. Mm-hmm. They were having too many problems.
Because kids just show up drunk and then people get aggressive. And
there was actually somebody got killed. Like one of the bouncers actually got killed. I think.
What, did he get stabbed?
Just got stabbed to death.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So I mean, there's a lot of drama happening there. Jake Ivory's was closed and being made into Lansdowne Pub, which is a beautiful venue now. But I think that room kind of took a lot of their attention. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I mean, I didn't run that business, so I can't tell you exactly why they made the decision. But they
for those who don't know, like as a promoter, show manager, you have a direct relationship with the venue, but you're not employed by the venue.
So back then, you mean?
Even now.
Well, even now, I'm employed by the Middle East.
No, I get that. I'm saying, but your role back then.
Back then, oh yeah. So
yeah, you were outside contracted.
Right.
In.
So yeah, I was like 1099 or whatever.
Yeah.
Contractor. So yeah, so they didn't have any. I guess they didn't have any. They felt like they didn't have any obligation or whatever. But so my mistake was to put all my eggs in that one basket. The venue closes, and now I'm about to have a child. I have nothing.
Scary, man.
Right. So,
How old are you now at this time? Like late
this time, this is like 2008.
10 years ago. So you're like late 20s.
Yeah,
Mhm.
about there. But so then I met a friend who had his own company, and you know, for a while I was at Bill's Bar, like he was trying to, you know,
He wanted to work together type
He
thing.
wanted to work together, but you know, back then it was so hard for me. Like I wanted to work with other people, but I didn't know how to make it work because I was so focused on I got to provide for my family. I gotta survive. You know,
Yeah.
It's all
Different
the
mindset.
responsibilities on me. I can't necessarily trust someone else to do it. How do I split the money? Like, you know, I didn't know how to do that. So it's my friend Mark, and you know, he would call me on the phone and we would talk for like hours, and you know, we wanted to work together, but I just didn't know how to do it. Then Bill's Bar kind of fell out. That's when Mark was like, Lionel, just come. Let's merge and let's work together.
Let's do something bigger. Yeah.
So that was like the rebirth for me at that point. So
The rebirth.
The rebirth, right. I started working with Mark, and then, you know, he was doing like one show like a month, or
But a big show.
just a small local show.
Okay.
Something small like that, right? I came in there, like, keep in mind, I just had a child. I'm used to doing every weekend. And, you know, I talked him into
Scary, man.
I talked him into doing, like, you know, about 200 shows a year, basically, or somewhere around there. Like, you know, it didn't go right, you know, 0 to 60 right away, but eventually, like, really soon, from one show a month, I was like, dude, we got to do 3, 4, 5, 6, 8
I like that.
shows.
That's that volume. Bix, wasn't I talking about that? That's that volume.
Yeah, he was doing like, you know, 2, 3 bands a night. I was like, dude, let's go 4 or 5.
That's what I'm talking about.
So I was like, we gotta push this.
Word.
At first, he wasn't on board. He was like, oh, no. But then he's like, all right, you go ahead.
Just
and
do it.
So that's what happened. That kind of grew. I did that for several years.
What was the name of that company?
Here Now Live.
Here Now Live?
Yep.
That was all Boston.
All of the greater Boston. So Boston, Cambridge, Somerville, Alston area.
Lionel's a seasoned vet, man. You're a vet.
You know, all the glory goes to God. Honestly, like, anything good is from Him. But
Shout out to God.
that's right. Big ups.
That's that guy.
So I was doing that for a while, and you know, when I first started working at the Middle East as a bouncer, you know, I had like dreams of one day I was going to be book the book, we called it booking agent back then. Actually now it's the title is talent buyer, because like there's this distinction between booking agent and
Sorry,
talent buyer.
so did I address you wrong?
No, it's okay. Like I didn't even know the difference until someone explained it to me.
Yeah.
Like, booking agent works for the artist, talent buyer works for the venue.
Okay.
Yeah. But
It's crazy
that
how
was-
life turned out, though, huh? You
It
had
is
a dream
crazy.
of doing it. That's
I
awesome.
had a dream to do it. I didn't ever dream to book the downstairs. I wanted the upstairs, right?
Why?
I don't know why. I think
And that's what you book now.
it is.
That's crazy, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I didn't think I was going to get there, though. Like, at some point, once I started doing so many shows on my own, I was like, all right, I'm just going to do this for a while, you know?
And was Ned coming up at the same time as you were?
Oh, you know what? Ned, he was coming up, like, just a little bit after me, not too much longer. So he was coming up around that time, yeah.
Oh, so I'm sure you guys had probably met before you both started working in the Middle East, right?
It's funny, the first, so we're talking about Ned Leeds Edutainment.
Yeah, Ned's from Leeds, who's been
Shout out to Leeds Edutainment.
It's Edutainment, right?
Edutainment, yeah.
Leeds has been just a face of rap and hip hop in Boston for like over 15, 20 years.
Yeah,
now,
I mean,
so.
it's like, honestly,
He's one of the only dudes to run it, have like have longevity in it in this city.
right, because he knows what he's doing. Honestly.
Yeah, he's a smart dude. Absolutely.
He's really good at hip hop. He's good at a lot of different things actually, but he's like really good at hip hop.
Yeah.
But
I mean, yeah, some of his artists. I mean, I know Static Selecta's signatures on that wall right there.
oh really? Yeah, nice. So yeah, he was coming up around that time. I remember the first time I met him, we had mutual friends with there's a band called Bad Rabbits. Do you know Bad Rabbits?
Bix does.
Yeah, Bad Rabbits is awesome. I love that band. They were called the Eclectic Collective when I met them, and so we were mutual friends. And you know, I was starting to do some stuff with them in like Harper's Ferry and Middle East, and they were telling me about their friend. Oh, you gotta meet Leeds. You gotta meet Leeds. Nobody ever referred to him as Ned back then. It was just Leeds, right?
Was this his nickname?
I think so. Yeah. and that was the company name
Yeah.
too. So it's like, you got to meet Leeds, and I'm like, all right, cool, So there's this venue back then called All Asia. Do you remember All Asia?
Of course, it was right next to the Middle East.
It was up the street a bit, but yeah, on
But
the same side.
I told that's the first time I ever saw the Middle East is because I was leaving a birthday party coming from All Asia, and I was
You
like,
must
"Yo,
have
that
been
building."
really young.
I was maybe like 10.
Yeah, you're
and,
young.
and I was like, "That building is incredible. Like, what is that thing?"
Yeah. So All Asia, did you actually go inside?
Absolutely. I was at a birthday party.
Oh, you had a party there.
Yeah.
Okay. So like, if you remember, it was a Chinese restaurant.
But but there was still a stage, right?
Yeah, there was a stage and there was a Chinese restaurant. Like, you'll never see this again. I mean, I would love to see another.
That's when
venue.
Central was like beautiful, man.
I think Central's still beautiful.
I know, but there was so much like combustion and like stuff going on,
Yeah, but it's booming, man. I'm telling you, there's so much happening in Central.
Cambridge is booming.
Cambridge is booming, yeah. But All Asia.
Back to All Asia.
There's another venue that I booked at, not as much as the other venues, yeah. So he had a show there at All Asian. I think I must have been at the Middle East that night or something like that, and so it was like Salim from Bad Rabbits. He was in the Eclectic Collective at the time. He's like, yeah, you got to come meet Leeds. So I came to meet him.
So you said, okay, bet.
Right, and I was like, kind of like getting excited, like, because they were like, bigging him up, and so I was like, all right, let me come meet him. And so I come into All Asia, right? He has a show. It's kind of a packed room, and so I see this really tall dude.
Yeah, he's big.
Right? He's really tall, but he's actually more stockier than he is now. And so they're like, oh, Leeds, this is Lionel. And then he turns around, hey, what's up? One of those, and that was it. He like was up and then turned away. I was like, okay. So it's like,
you thought it was beef.
no, it wasn't beef, but I thought at the time I was like, man, he's not showing any love. I was like, all right. But honestly, both of us were like so focused on what we were doing at that time. That's the mentality that we were in,
It's kind of interesting though. It's like you both were kind of doing the same thing, and now you both like work together. In the
I know,
same
it
venue.
is cool. It is cool. Yeah, it is interesting.
It's a Hollywood story.
Yeah, I never would have thought I would end up working with Ned, honestly, because like he was doing his thing in one lane, I was doing my thing.
And you've always been rock, right? For the most part.
Pretty much, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, he's always been rap.
Yeah, but now but Ned, I'm telling you, he has a lot of experience with other genres. Like he's not just hip hop. Honestly, he's got a mind for many different styles of music.
So then when you're working with Mark,
Yeah, right.
and then what?
So I'm working with Mark for a while. From working at the Middle East, I developed a friendship with the owners of the Middle
The
East.
Bill and
Right.
Sonia, yeah.
And so around this time, there's a venue at the Middle East called The Corner. It's the smallest of all the rooms.
Yeah.
It's 5 different rooms now. Back then, there was only 4. So The Corner, they were like, Lionel, we need help with The Corner. Like, can you take it over? Now,
What's the capacity of the corner?
Corner is like, so like
So
this
it's like 75 or something?
it's like 60-ish.
So you're give me this tiny room? Like, I've thrown huge shows.
At the time, I was like, sure. I was hesitant at first because I didn't want to spread myself too thin. But I was like, all right, they really want me to do it, and I wanted to help them out, and I could use the money, obviously. And so I did it. And that's when I started to work for the Middle East again, because like at first was a bouncer originally.
Came back, yeah.
Right. So it's like, Middle East was always home. I felt like that was home. So like coming back to work for them in that capacity it made sense. So yeah, I did that for I think that 2 years, maybe about 2 years, and then an opportunity came available for the downstairs.
Whoa.
That was a little bit of a surprise to me. I wasn't expecting that.
And had Ned started working over there yet?
Ned, at that time, I think he started working in the upstairs.
Okay.
Yeah, he was already in the upstairs at that time. So I was offered the downstairs room. And keep in mind, my dream was always to book the upstairs at that, And so when they offered it to me, I was like, man, this is weird. Like,
That's a lot of people.
this is a big room. Am I ready for this? And everyone was like, you can do it. They were encouraging me. And, I felt like I had been praying for a different opportunity because I wanted to kind of like transition. And I feel like this was, God had put this opportunity in front of me, and so I took it. And so I started booking the downstairs, and that was 2014.
Oh, word. Okay.
Yeah.
So start to finish, you're booking. This was like it took you like 15 years to start and like get back to the Middle East.
It's crazy.
That's nuts how it
Big
works,
circle,
right?
Yeah.
Bix, do you mind hitting the camera real quick? I'm gonna use the restroom very quick. Do you guys need anything while I get up?
Did you get my rider?
Okay, we're live over on this end. Thank you for allowing me to take a bathroom break.
Do you know what time it is?
It's 12:16.
Oh, okay.
Why? What time you got to dip?
No, I'm good. I was just wondering how much we've, like, at what point are we like halfway through or?
Oh well, I mean, if you want to talk for 6 hours, we can talk for 6
Still
hours.
I'm used to talking to girls on the phone for 6 hours, but not dudes. But
Well, you're on the airwaves, man.
that's right.
Okay, so we made through the Lionel saga. You are now. Well, that's at the downstairs. Now you primarily book the upstairs.
Right.
Okay. I think more than anything, what I want to get out of this is we have a lot of young that follow this rappers in the city, don't understand venues, don't understand show facilitation, don't understand how to creatively market something.
Yeah.
When you are going to book a show, what is the first? And mind you, Lionel mostly does rock.
Right.
What are you looking for primarily? Like if it's someone you've never encountered before, and they don't meet you in person.
I love that you're mindful of these things, because a lot of people don't really think about it. They just they want things, but they don't think about how to get there. So we need more people like you. That's what I want to say. So, and I think people like you are helping other people that don't know what they're doing, because unfortunately, a lot of people don't know what they're doing.
They have no clue.
It's not just hip hop though. It's every genre, even with rock bands, and I feel like there needs to be some education on how to contact venues and what the venues are looking for, so that they don't. You got to put your best foot forward.
Yeah.
And it just slows down the process when you don't do that. So as a talent buyer, I get tons of emails. Here's an example. Hey, I want to book there. Nothing else.
Well, you should see my DMs, my direct messages
I mean,
on
it's
Instagram.
it's bananas. Like, there's
I had some kid. Listen, I had some kid hit my DM. I'm just gonna change his name.
Yeah.
But he was like, "Yo, what's up?
Yeah.
It's cash out."
You know what? That's more information than I get most of the time.
I bet it's like, "Hey, I want to do a show."
Yeah. Hey, what's up with doing a show there? Like, what, you know what I mean? Like, what are the details of? It's like, okay, I get that you're interested. That's great, right? But I need some information.
But and first impressions are everything. It's like you're gonna, let's say my first contact, I bet I scripted some like professional email that took me like 2 hours, but like you're gonna see, okay, is he using punctuation in his sentences? Is he saying, hey, this is who I am, this is what I've done, this is what I'd like to do with you? Did they send you, I'm sure you look directly at YouTube videos, Instagram links, right? SoundCloud.
Yeah. I look at everything. I think, obviously there's a point of, if you over communicate, you don't want to like overwhelm somebody when you're first initially contacting them. But I think the basics are, letting them know who you are, and give us links to your work. I want to see SoundCloud links. Honestly, like SoundCloud is so important right now for artists that are trying to book. For me personally, from my perspective, I want to see a SoundCloud link, maybe a Bandcamp if you don't have SoundCloud, a YouTube. So
you would listen to the music before you saw a video?
I do them all. So if you're contacting me and you send me a SoundCloud or a Bandcamp, a YouTube, and especially I want to see the Facebook. If it's more of a younger crowd, obviously I want to see Instagram and Twitter. But so I'm checking them all out. I'll check all of them out all at once.
So I think this is important too. And correct me if I'm wrong. What the venue cares about ultimately is they want to throw a show. They want to host your show if there will be no problems with the show, right? Which means underage drinking, fights.
Right.
They want to work with people who are transparent.
Right.
And ultimately, at the end of the day, it's a business. So they want to make money off the show. Did I miss anything?
I think everything you're saying is right.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that both sides should want that.
Absolutely.
So, obviously the artists, they're passionate about their music. They want to perform, and that's great. We want to provide a place for them to perform. There needs to be transparency, and we need to communicate on expectations.
Mm-hmm.
So like artists, they always want to come perform, but it's a business. So if the show, depending on what kind of room they're coming into, we need to know like what they're gonna bring in, like how many people are coming for them,
Yeah.
versus the other act.
And at the same time, here's another question: how frequently do you deal with ego with artists and camps?
Me personally,
Because that's one thing I'm just starting to notice. There's just a
lot of egos.
There's a ton of ego in this, but it's not justified.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So here's the thing, right? With my job as a talent buyer, the majority, I would say maybe 60 to 70% of what I do, I'm dealing with national acts. I'm dealing with agents.
Big dick swinger over here.
Well, no, I don't mean it that way. It's a different
Different
my
level
role
of
is
professionalism.
different. Yeah, my role is different now. When I first started out, I was dealing strictly, directly with the artists, the bands. Now I'm mostly dealing with agents and managers, and on that level. And then there's a smaller amount I'm dealing with.
That's funny.
artists.
That's actually so funny because like managers and agents will hit me up, to get on the show or like, hey, we should pull a show together or something, and I'll be like, you're a loser. Like, just why don't you come talk to me personally? You know what I'm saying? Like,
What, the artist, you mean?
I would prefer the artist just come straight to me.
Well, that's kind of a catch-22. So here's the thing, right? If you have like a personal relationship with the artist, like know them a long time, like I've been in that position before where I've worked with an artist before and we have a relationship, and then now there's a manager, and it's kind of initially it might be weird, but honestly it makes sense. Like at some point, an artist, if they get to a certain level, they do need someone to handle the communication.
I know, but I deal with all Boston music, so I'm not dealing. And at the same time, it's like I don't want to do work personally. You're probably different. I don't want to do work with people who can't handle themselves talking on their own.
Yeah, I mean, everybody, any person should ideally be able to handle themselves.
Exactly,
But
especially in the Boston level. You know what I'm saying? You know what the market is out here.
But keep in mind too, Connor, like, a lot of people, they have day jobs,
Everyone
they have
does.
kids, right? So like, you just imagine if you had a full-time job and you were an artist at the same time, and maybe you have kids too, and trying to balance those things could be difficult, especially when you need to communicate at a certain level. So yeah, maybe you might want to get someone to handle that. That's only handling.
Well, I think what I'm saying more so is I want to work. I think the most valuable thing any human can do is just be able to communicate effectively.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely on the same page, right?
Yeah.
I think it's a total turn off in terms of but turn off in working with an artist if they're not able to express what they want, how they feel directly to me before they need to go through someone else.
I can understand that. Yeah.
Lionel, you're a great guy.
Oh, thank you.
Glad I could get that through. So you, on the national level, you deal with ego a lot, or it's more just like this is business, efficiency, effective?
I mean, every now and then that comes into play, but not a ton. I meet a lot of cool people, a lot of humble people.
It's the best part about the Middle East.
Yeah.
Tons of people in and out.
You meet every different walk of life, whether it's an ego or someone that's very humble and easy to work with. So like, yeah, I'm just thankful for the opportunities, like especially when you meet someone that's humble. Like, I feel like you're a humble person, and you're someone that communicates well, so, and persistent.
Psychotically.
Which is good. No, I love that.
We have to be, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So I went to one of Lionel's events recently, probably within the last month, and he booked Creed Bratton from The Office.
That
was a sick show, man.
No,
that was dope.
That
and
one
you hit
fell
the
in my
jackpot
lap.
on that too. You're
Just
like, what?
fell in my
Sold
lap,
out,
dude.
right?
Sold out in advance.
How did that work?
Man, so I
Creed's the old dude in The Office with a bald head who always has like the deadpan black humor.
Right. What was his? I was talking with someone the other day. Was he in HR? What was his title?
His character name was Creed though.
Right, it was Creed in the show, but I was trying to figure out what department in Dunder Mifflin did he?
Bix, you looked that up. Nonetheless, what an interesting dude. He had a #1 single on the Billboard before he started The Office, and he started The Office like 25 years later.
Right.
Isn't that crazy?
He's old school.
Wait, he's 70, and he was killing it.
Yeah.
There were people crying in the audience. I was like, oh my God, people love this show.
I hope that one comes back, man. I can't wait for that show to come back again.
No, it was hilarious because people love The Office so much.
Yeah.
That he was doing an acoustic rendition of The Office, like dun, 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 dun. He did that at the end, and he did like American Pie. People were bawling their eyes out.
Nice.
That's my guy. That's my guy.
Quality assurance director.
He's a quality assurance
That's
director.
what he was. Yeah. I think that was one of the highlights of 2018 was that show.
Yeah, that was sick, man.
I was excited about that one.
So how did that happen?
You know, I had been trying to book him for like a couple of years, man. It just wasn't, wasn't the right timing.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was trying to book him, I was trying, part of my job is I need to evaluate a show to, to see how big or
Is it gonna sell?
small it is. Right. How's it going to do? And base my offer on that. And so this one wasn't an easy one to kind of gauge, but I just had a gut instinct, man.
It's The Office. You knew it had to be a bucket, man.
You would think that that's the case, but it's not always the case. I love The Office, one of my favorite shows, and obviously love that character. So that I had a personal interest, like I really wanted to see this one happen. But is it big enough for the Middle East downstairs?
And you were probably like, this is like kind of a weird show. It's like a music intermittent with like some stand-up comedy type.
I thought that was, I like that aspect.
Oh, so you had heard of a show with a format like that beforehand?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It made sense. I mean, because he was a musician before The Office.
Well, I did not know that, but it was really cool.
Yeah.
He would take a bit and talk, tell some jokes, and then play some more songs.
Yeah.
And what a cool tour! Like, that was sick.
Yeah.
So what happened? Did you get an email blast saying like, "Hey, Creed's on tour. He wants to come out here"?
Yeah. So like, I had been talking. I think he might have changed agents while I was, during the time that I was trying to book him, and so there was this one agent that. So I sent an email. I saw that he had shows coming up, and I was like, man, I really want to book this dude. Like, every time I've tried, it just didn't work out. Either he wasn't available, or I didn't have the dates, or whatever reason, right? And so I saw that he had shows, and I think I sent a message to his page or put a post on something, and then I was like, man, I gotta figure out who the new person is. Mm-hmm. So I found out who that was, and I sent him an email. And he hit me back. He was like, "Oh, I heard you want to book, you want to book Creed Bratton in Boston. What's up? Here are the dates."
Dope.
And I was like, "Bet."
That's huge.
I was like, "Bet." But honestly, at that time, I wasn't sure if that should be a Middle East upstairs show or not. Because I was like, is this gonna be big enough for downstairs? So
it was packed. Packed.
It was packed, and so like we were negotiating the details and all that, and I kind of had to step out on faith that it was gonna do well enough. Like not a sold out downstairs. I honestly didn't think it was gonna.
It oversold out too.
I didn't think it was a no brainer sold out downstairs.
And I don't even put you in hot water, but there was definitely more than 575 people in there too.
I doubt all at once, but yeah.
I swear on my life, it was like the biggest show I had seen down there. Like I'm talking about, like the coolers in the back. It was like pressed all the way back there. It was sick. There's some appeal about that with shows. It's like, I mean, my experience was a little bit different. So I really devoted 8 weeks to the show this summer.
Yeah.
I was staying.
This dude was a man on fire. Let me just tell you, this dude, I haven't seen anyone grind, like personally, like witness someone grind so hard for one show.
Well, I knew it was a really big deal to get that downstairs, though.
Yeah.
I was aware, and then I this show wouldn't be growing if I hadn't done that. You know what I'm saying?
Let me just tell you guys, the people that are listening to or watching this, Connor was telling me when he told me that he was personally delivering tickets to every person that bought him. That blew my mind. Because
but that's what people have to do out here.
The time and dedication it takes to as one man to meet with and deliver or communicate, meet with and deliver tickets like that. It's like more than a full-time job. It's a lot.
But can I be honest with you? It was really weird for me too because I was bleeding for it so crazy that, you know, then it's just like 4 hours is all it is.
Yeah.
And so on the night of the show, I was just like, okay, I had a huge letdown afterwards. I was like, okay, this is it. Like, what happens next? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Too big to fail? No, I was kidding.
Exactly. But like, there was an appeal, I think, and I'll do it for every single event I ever throw now, honestly, because it's just like you're really going up to people. You're like, yo, I would love for you to come to my show. You know what I'm saying? Cool. It's $12. It's $15. I have to charge you just because like that's my job.
Right.
But like, I'm gonna ask you to come. I'm gonna give you your tickets. I'm gonna give you everything, and then you show up, and you'll have a better time than you would if you just bought them online. I totally feel that way.
Yeah.
Would you agree? I mean, there's a total appeal to like hand receive some tickets as opposed to like go to this. What is it? Was it Ticket Hub?
Ticket Web.
Ticket Web. StubHub. Ticket Hub. Yeah. That's one thing I wanted to ask you. There's no one, and it's no knock to anybody coming up here ever, but no one who's come up here, I think, could produce a crowd like me and Jack, just because we're willing to actually go meet with people. Don't you think that more people should put in some legwork to grow the scene out here?
I think it'd be great. I'd love to see it. I think that some people are trying or have tried, but you know, I hadn't seen that in a long time. How you did that show, like I hadn't seen that kind of grind. But well, yeah, I'd love to see it.
How consistent are big shows for the upstairs?
Upstairs? So I mean, the upstairs, you know, it holds 194 people. So like, you know, when you say big,
yeah,
it's like.
Well, I mean, when it like looking full, I know it can look full at like 100 usually.
Yeah, I mean, you know, usually I would say in the weekends are the biggest shows, obviously because it's the weekend, but pretty consistent. Pretty consistent, yeah.
There's just a problem with artists out here, like rappers specifically. I'm trying to get it across. It's like the music here, you don't have the luxury to just be an artist. I really, truly believe that people have to go put in legwork.
I mean, it's a business, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, and as far as that aspect of the business, you kind of have to. If you don't, then you have to find other people that are going to do that. So, you know.
But that's the only money out here for artists is shows. That's it.
I think, yeah. You know, I mean, in general, like you see even on a national level, like a lot of artists are making a lot of money off tours.
That's where they make all their money.
Tours and merch. I mean, they make money off of
streams,
and you know, deals or whatever. But a lot of it's tours.
Huge.
Yeah.
I wonder, like, and tours attract a lot of attention too.
Right.
I feel an obligation just to like try to express to people, like, especially artists. People want to blow up, right? Artists want to blow up badly. Totally get it. Who doesn't? But I don't think there's anything that stands more, especially in this music market, than throwing a big show. That shows, you know, people are actually going out of their way.
Yeah.
They're not just listening to a stream. That's effortless. People are like, they're at their apartment, they're getting ready, they're drinking with their girlfriends or boyfriends, whatever. They're taking Uber to the Middle East, and then they're showing up.
Shout out to Uber.
Big shout out to Uber. Is that how you got here? Or Lyft?
Uber.
There's a big battle with that right now. You know that, right? Lyft is on the way swing up.
I know, yeah. Well, Uber is like there's a big difference between those two. I think. I mean, obviously they do the same thing, but I think that Lyft is more customer friendly. I think it seems like.
In terms of what?
I mean, just their marketing approach and just like, I don't know, just something about the way their app functions. I just think they're quicker, man. Like when you order a Lyft,
I think it's cheaper too. It's a little bit.
Honestly, I think, you know, I have both of them, honestly. So like I'll check. I'm a loyal person in general. I started with Uber, So my default is I check Uber first.
I think most people did probably start with Uber.
Yeah, I think so too. So like, if I check Uber and I'm like, I don't like that price because I think it's a little high, I'm gonna check Lyft next to see what's up.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes Lyft is cheaper. But in
No,
general,
but Uber has been huge. Like, had dominance over Lyft for a while,
yeah.
but Lyft is like swinging up.
Oh yeah.
I wonder why that is, honestly.
Well, they had a lot of legal problems.
Well, know what they're not doing. And here, you can swag my sauce because I know in 3 months.
Swag my sauce.
Because I know in 3 months you guys will probably do it. They're not marketing to social media influencers. They should all be paying social media influencers to make Uber and Lyft videos of them.
Well, Lyft was doing that for a little while. They I think Shaq did some stuff.
Yeah,
with Kevin Hart.
but those are celebrities. I mean influencers.
Oh, influencers. Oh, I guess yeah. Hey Connor, sorry to interrupt. Do you mind if I use the bathroom real quick?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, all right.
Oh, we gotta get Jack first. First priority when we get new gear. I'm getting Lionel a shirt. So
Jack, can you do me can I ask her a favor? When you do that, can you put Adam's head on one of those?
his son?
My son Adam, he's like a huge Celtics fan.
Who's his favorite?
Kyrie.
Kyrie.
Loves Kyrie and Jaylen Brown. He wants me to get him Kyrie's.
What do you think of Kyrie though?
I like Kyrie. It's good.
But he believes the Earth's flat. And you're a godly man.
Wait, I think he said.
He's just messing around. I know he's just playing. He's actually hilarious.
Yeah,
he's a really smart dude.
It's funny though. I was watching this video. I can't remember who it was, but it was like one of those YouTube videos where this guy was like explaining why people think the Earth is flat. Okay, I started to get into it.
That's a rabbit hole, man. You don't want to go down that.
No, but it was funny because I wanted him to try to convince me. Like I honestly don't believe the Earth is flat.
They'll be like, it's an angle with some curvature on the horizon. That's like how they explain it usually.
Yeah, no, this dude, I think it was a joke, honestly, but he took like a serious angle at first. But I think he was like kind of like
he's messing around.
He's funning.
Yeah.
But I was like, okay, show me the process, the thought process, and why, explain it to me. Use science or whatever the heck you got to do. Show me why this Earth is flat. I mean,
good luck. It's
couldn't do it.
The internet's a crazy place. So why do you only use Facebook?
I don't only use Facebook. I have Instagram and Twitter.
Oh, you got little private accounts?
No, it's not private. I think I'm following you on the gram, bro.
No shot. Are you?
Yeah. Isn't it like Coach Connor or something like that?
Coach. What is it under Lionel Train?
It's Lionel Train 1976.
What a great year for. Oh, there you are.
That's right. I just gave my age.
All right. Well, GDP just followed you.
Word. Shout out to GDP.
So now I can tag you and all that stuff. I'll send you some clips that you can put up.
Okay.
Say, hey man, I should have professional interview.
I think I'm gonna have to book a private lesson with you. You need to school me on the whole
social media marketing.
Yeah, especially with Instagram and Twitter, because like I feel like I'm an old head with that. Like I don't really know what I'm doing.
Well, it's weird. It's like, what are you marketing?
Me personally?
Yeah.
So like
you market your services, I guess, more than anything.
No, I'm marketing like shows, basically. Artists that are playing. So event marketing, I guess you could say. I could market my services.
Yeah. So outside of booking, do you want to throw your own show coming up, or
I do every now and then. Yeah.
Oh, do you?
Yeah. LB presents.
LB
presents. Yeah.
What is the B?
Brown.
So are you Lionel Trainer or Lionel Brown?
And that's where this interview ends.
Well, yeah, because I heard you on the phone. I heard you on the phone once. I was like, wait, what's going on? It's cool if I call the episode Lionel Train, though, right?
Of course. So just to be,
this guy's got an alias.
Just to clarify, so it's a funny thing. Basically, like one of my nicknames was L Train in college. One of the football coaches gave me that.
That's hilarious.
He called me Lionel Train.
Were you a lineman?
I was an offensive lineman. Yeah. Right tackle.
Oh wait, you're pancaking mad people. He's calling you Train.
I wasn't that good, to be honest with you.
Played in college. You must have been all right, man.
I played 1 year.
Still, wait, was it Central Michigan you played at?
No, I played at UMass Boston for a year.
They had a team back then?
They did. This is like a year or two. It was like 1 or 2 years before they stopped the program.
Who were you playing? Like you were playing like Assumption.
So we played. I think we played Assumption. We were in. It's a D3 school. Mm-hmm. So they played like Assumption. I think University of Maine, Colby College, Bridgewater State, like those kind of schools.
Well, Colby is a NESCAC. That's like a.
So I think UMass is in NESCAC now.
No shot.
I think they are, but not for football, but like other
specific sports.
Right,
yeah.
We didn't play Providence though.
They don't have a team. They got no football
Do you have
team.
no football team?
I tell all the girls I was on the football team, like, oh my God, we love you, man.
But you played sports though, right? You told me you played something.
Not
when you
a-
were a kid.
Yeah, I played football in high school.
You did. Oh, let's talk about that.
Well, Jack also played. We were terrible.
What
There's
position
no
did you
conversation
play?
we have. Well, that's where I first learned I was a psycho, more than anything, because I would like get on the field and I would just like keep hitting people. Whistle was done. Keep hitting
Nice.
people.
That's why you're an animal now.
Yeah, it's probably all up here. I was probably blocking with my head, honestly.
Did you guys play Pop Warner when you were little?
No, see, the thing is, we grew up in Lincoln, Mass.
Okay.
So Lincoln is like, without Hanscom, what is it, 5,000 people?
Now last 4.
It's like 4,000 people
Which way is Lincoln? Is that south?
west.
West.
Northwest.
What's
Down
are
Route 2, just like go down Route 2.
What are the surrounding towns?
Concord, Lexington, Waltham,
Oh, okay.
Weston, Wayland, Sudbury, somewhere in the woods.
So they didn't have a Pop Warner team then. Is what
Well,
you're
there
saying?
was the Lincoln Sudbury, but only Sudbury kids played. Lincoln was good at soccer, is pretty much it.
Was Sudbury the scrubs, and Lincoln were like the cool kids, or what?
Absolute opposite. Lincoln were the freaks.
Oh,
Me and
okay.
Jack were total freaks.
Nice.
Still are freaks. We
So-
like it. We like it that way though.
What position did you guys play?
Well, so I rode big bench,
Big bench.
and additionally, they'd have me in practice in the scout team, and so I was just known to go. I was not good, but I would just go really hard.
Yeah.
So like one day the coach was like, "Oh wait, we're gonna put you on the special teams."
Oh, you were on special teams.
So I was on the kick return.
Were you returning the ball?
No, I was
Oh.
just like trying to tackle kids, even though I was supposed to be blocking them.
Oh, I got you.
I loved high school football though. It was fun.
What about Jack? What did he do?
Offensive lineman. Tackle.
Oh, was he? Were you bigger back then?
Oh, it's huge.
Much bigger.
Oh, okay, yeah, I can see
I'm
it.
like 280.
Oh, you're a big boy. Okay, there you go.
But you played at Somerville High.
No, I messed that up, and I didn't end up playing there. I played in Chelsea for a year.
Well, you know Everett's nasty, right?
Everett is sick.
Nasty.
But we used to play them back when I was going to Chelsea,
Mm-hmm.
and we used to kick their butts.
No
Like
way.
we used to trade back and forth, but Chelsea was hanging with them for a while.
They have like 6 kids go D1 a year.
I mean, now Everett is like insanely great.
Beast.
Yeah. But when I was a kid,
Severian is really good too.
when I was a kid, they weren't as good.
Probably new coach or something.
Yeah, probably.
What? Since you're a vet, I also asked you this. I was like, "What's your favorite
I
show?"
wasn't in the military, by the way.
You weren't. Oh yeah, no. You're a vet in
just to clarify.
You're a Boston music vet.
No military discount.
What was your favorite show? It's a pretty basic, rudimentary question, but
Just like that I ever went to. You mean?
well, so one thing I learned from you is like as a talent buyer / booking agent, it's like if you get a good act, it's like a score. It's like that's the goal. It's like you
Yeah.
want a big act who like is attracting a lot of attention for themselves. So was there ever one you were like, yo, I'm gonna go get it, bam, smack?
I mean, like that Creed Bratton show was one of the ones because I was really excited about that artist. But
Think early days.
early days. So keep in mind, in the early days, I was only doing local music.
Well, there were big rock bands out of Boston, man. You know this more than anyone.
There were, yeah,
Probably a little bit before you.
Like Spiritual Res was a band that I booked before, and they're bigger now.
You know them, Bix? You know I'm not huge into the rock, so.
Right. Well, Spiritual Red is like a reggae, rich reggae kind of band. So, man, it's hard to say. If I had to think back, who's a big act that I wanted to get? Honestly, I can't remember like a really big act that I did because it was all local music.
And for you, it's like rinse and repeat, right?
Yeah, I mean, the volume is grand when it comes to like local. There's so many local artists in Boston or surrounding towns or even out further out. It's insane, man. Like every year, there's like more and more new bands.
Well, everyone wants to make music. That's
Right.
one thing. Can you speak on kind of like where Boston rock scene is? Like,
Boston rock.
because I don't know enough about it.
Well,
Is Adam Hanna rock? Is that what you consider rock?
Adam Hanna is like singer songwriter pop rock, I guess you could say.
But that would be
Adam he's an awesome artist.
Yeah, he was your show buddies now.
He's really good.
He's great. He performs at Capitol all the time.
Was he on The Voice? Or oh, it hasn't happened?
Well, no.
I thought
Sorry.
he was on one of those shows.
Adam, my bad, bro.
No, not you didn't tell me. I thought I saw something.
Well,
online.
no, now everyone's gonna know, but it's fine. He got denied the first time, but they just asked him back.
Oh,
for-
sweet.
So-
You heard it here first.
Yeah, on the golden hours, man.
The golden hours. I like that.
Yeah. So, furthermore, where is Boston music rock at? Like, what is
there's
it?
So many great bands.
Local.
Local, yeah. So many good ones. I feel like there's even more up and coming bands that you haven't even heard about yet. So there's so much talent in Boston. I mean, you got Berkeley here, which is like probably one of the biggest and best music schools in America. I mean, people come from overseas to go to Berkeley. That's how good the school is.
Oh yeah, yeah. John goes to Berkeley or went to Berkeley.
Right.
I know, but my question is, as a market, where is it?
As a market, on a national level, you mean? Or-
Well, that's one thing I think people can take away from this. It's like there's no. I threw one of the biggest shows of the summer, right,
Yeah.
locally in Boston. I didn't make that much money.
Yeah.
How do artists start making money out here? Like, what do they do?
I think part of it is, you have to put together a plan first. Just diving into something, it's okay. But if you plan it out and project, like that's one of the things I was trying to do with you when we sat down, is like to show you that. That's why I spent that time with the numbers and all that, to show you what you were really getting into, to make sure that you understood that and that you were ready for that. And you were, you took it on. And so you really have to kind of evaluate where you're at as an artist in terms of, like, obviously with your music, but also the business side. Where have you played before? Like what have you been able to draw on your own? Because at the end of the day, it's great to get on shows where people are just there and everybody wants that, but you really have to take an accounting of what you can bring to the table as an artist in terms of business. How many people you can draw out. What are you worth as an artist?
So what I'm saying is, the only avenue I can see for artists to make money. So I think the goal for a lot of people is, okay, I want to be a full-time artist, right?
A lot of people want that, yeah.
You can't right now. You can't do that in Boston. It's not a thing.
Some people do that. I mean, here's the thing. I see a lot of artists that, they start off and they have all these great ambitions and they're hungry and they're out there grinding and they really want to be full-time musicians. And some of them end up making it. And some of them kind of end up realizing that, you know what, I'm not really going to be able to survive financially. Either I need to go put it down and go do something else, or a lot of them, they start, working, with like corporate events or, as wedding bands. So like, cover bands. Like I see a lot of artists go that way eventually.
Because it's safer.
It's safer, but also there's more opportunity to make money.
That's what I'm saying. It's safer. But
Yeah.
the reward's not as high.
Financially, it's higher, but maybe not personally rewarding as much.
No, but I'm saying, yeah. I mean, but the wedding money's gonna cap out at some point.
Wedding money's sick, bro. Don't sleep on.
Bro, no one wants to be a wedding singer their whole life.
Some of them actually decide that that's what they want to do, and they're excited about it. But I feel you on that. Like people that like when I first started doing this, when I was so new to the game, I hadn't worked in the music business, so just identifying the perspective of the artist.
Yeah.
Like artists, a lot of artists, they're like they're into their music and they want to play their music. There are some artists that like they're all about covers or whatever, but a lot of artists that like they're into what they want to do, their vision. So and that's important to them. So for an artist to decide eventually, I'm gonna go and play covers when they initially only wanted to play their own music, that's a big transition. It takes a lot of like.
Some people also start with covers and then transition out of it.
That's true. Yeah.
I mean, so one, I'm gonna call it right now. I think Boston music in the next 3 years is gonna be huge. Huge.
On what level though?
On a national level, it's gonna be viewed as like a very prevalent and relevant scene, like Atlanta or New York or LA or Chicago. I think that. I wonder how the venues it's going to transition. I feel like you guys are going to have to take way more volume.
So usually from my experience, you can kind of see some precursors to that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And 3 years is not that far away. What precursors do you see right now in local music? The local scene that are leading you to believe that's going to be that big.
I think from a marketing strategy. I mean, that thing is just vicious.
It's okay.
There's a huge disorganization, as we talked about.
Right.
Ridiculous. But there's like really talented kids out here.
Mm.
I think there are more people, I realize, filling into administrative roles, which is actually probably one of the most important things. One dude I respect the shit out of is Tim LaRue. I've never talked about him on the show, but it was Cousin Stiz's manager. Genius, man. Like, total. I would love to speak to him soon.
Is he from Boston?
I think he's from Connecticut. I think he went to school up here.
Right.
Genius dude. There needs to be like 15 of those.
Yeah.
Right?
Doesn't happen though, usually.
But I'm starting to see it. So, for instance, we had this girl, young lady named Roxland up here, and she works with one of the artists that performed at my show. There are really smart people filling into positions that know how to market really well.
Now, are they creating these positions, or are they going to kind of team up with because that's the thing. Like a lot of these people, I don't know Tim LaRue's story, but it sounds like he's kind of just started his own thing, right? Is that, or is he with another company?
Well, I'm sure you probably met him in passing because he would go to the Middle East. They definitely throw shows in the Middle East.
Right.
I mean, as would every rap act ever in Boston.
Yeah.
But the way effectively that Boston, the entertainment market's going to grow, Boston's a really communal city.
Mm-hmm.
People love sports, right?
Oh, yeah.
People love the city. I think music is just the last leg.
I think music, yeah, I agree with that. I think, there are a lot of people in Boston or the surrounding areas, they love live music.
Who doesn't?
Right. But, the ones that want to come out and see live music, the majority of them are coming to see more mainstream acts or more touring acts. They don't necessarily pay attention to local music. There are some, but I would say it's a smaller demographic.
Mm-hmm. But
and that wasn't always the case, though. I think, like in like the 90s, like I talked to people that were around during those times, and the scene was totally different. People would come out to see live music, like when the Rat was around and the Channel.
Well, you've probably noticed it. My crowd at the Middle East was much different than ones you normally see.
Right.
Because I was getting, a lot of my friends from Providence and Lincoln and Sudbury. Right. They don't think to go to the Middle East. They think to go, let's go out in Southie or Seaport or one of those spots. How would, from a venue aspect and from just a marketing aspect, how do we start to tap into that audience
and bring them in
and to make it more popular to go to a local Boston concert?
Well, I think initially is you introduced them to the Middle East, like the ones that hadn't been there before. That's their initial introduction. So, hopefully they came and had a great experience, and they'll be looking to come back. Mm-hmm. Consistency is important. So if there's not consistency, then maybe they'll come once and then they'll forget about it. So.
Is competition much higher now than it was when you were even a bouncer there, in terms of like getting people from different pockets in the country to come? I mean, city.
I would say, yeah. There's a lot more going on now than back then. A lot of different things to do, basically.
I just wonder how, especially as a venue, like you transition marketing. Because, like, it's such a storied venue. How do you make sure you start pulling the younger kids, and, like, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm sure you have real loyal people who have been going there for now 10 years.
Right.
Kids my age, how do you get them to come consistently to shows?
I mean, the kids your age and younger, they're paying attention to certain artists. A lot of people don't just look at venues. It starts from the artist.
Mm-hmm.
People are not just coming to the Middle East. By and large, okay, because there are some people that just come there. But by and large, people aren't just coming to the Middle East or Brighton Music Hall or the Paradise or any of these rooms just because, hey, I want to go to Paradise. They're specifically coming for an artist.
For the show. So you think it's in terms of building the market completely, it's a matter of, okay, we need more poppin' artists out here.
I think when you have a venue that is consistently bringing great artists in, great shows, and they are consistently marketing and remarketing to those people that are coming, and creating a good experience every time they come in, they create brand loyalty, and then they're more likely to come back. So I think that's what venues need to do to keep that clientele coming in.
I'm under this theory that Boston needs like 3 artists, right? Rock stars that leave for a year but then come back and stay and start building out a city specifically. Don't you think that'd be like wicked beneficial?
It'd be cool. I mean, I think we've seen that here and there.
How do we grow the business is what I'm getting at. How do we make it more accessible? How do we increase volume? How do we make Boston like that city that's hot?
So like, I don't know. One of the things, like, what's the intention? Like, what's the intention of when you say make Boston hot? Is it to like show other cities and say, hey, look at us? Is that the intention, or is it just?
I think it's just creating opportunity for people who are really talented at what they do that don't necessarily have it right now.
Right. So I mean, I think part of it is I think that we need to like teach some of these artists things that they don't already know, and like how to, how do you book your band, and how should you operate? How do you operate? Because like I don't think they learn these things, on their own quickly enough. I don't think they necessarily know where to go to figure out how to do that. Some of them do; they figure it out, but other ones that don't, they don't have that kind of that compass to You're one of the people. You obviously went to school for marketing. I
was very rarely in class. But I will not credit my institution on my skill set.
Right. I mean,
ever.
I think you have an innate drive and desire, and you know how to find.
I was huffing a lot of paint when I was a kid. That's why I'm all loose up top.
Okay. Kids still do that?
No, I'm just messing around, bro. Yeah, I know what you're saying. I had like 2 fire questions that I wanted to rattle off. I forgot.
What's up with that next Golden Deer Productions
event?
Yeah,
I got a couple. I got a couple in my head, but
what's going on?
I want to throw another concert. I've been over this. I'll probably talk to you off air too, but
Yeah.
we'll definitely have a show, and we definitely have a couple events happening in the city that won't be concerts in the next couple.
Like outside stuff?
No, like it'll probably be a club or different structure of event.
Yeah.
I think we've done everything. Definitely want to do something on a boat too. I definitely want to do a boat event.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. Your prediction, your optimistic prediction in the next 5 years. And remember, in 5 years, Jack will have 3 kids. I'll be bumming on the street. You'll be a CEO. Where will Boston music be?
5 years.
And listen, kids, this is from somebody who has seen it grow, seen it change. Really smart dude. Let's trust his word.
I mean, I can't necessarily say that I have like a big surprise in the horizon in 5 years. I don't see a lot changing, honestly.
You don't think there's like the city, since the city itself is growing, then entertainment will grow innately?
I see. Okay, I've been doing this for about 17 years, and things come in waves. Like I would say every couple of years, a bigger act blows up from Boston. There's a couple of bands that I could tell you right now that they're starting to blow up. Like Ripe is a band that's kind of blowing up. They're selling out Paradise Rock Club, and they're a local band, and they're playing all these festivals. So there's like Ripe. There's Twiddle is selling out multiple nights. Paradise Rock Club. I think they're playing House of Blues or something like that.
Aren't they from Burlington?
Yeah.
Burlington, Vermont.
Yeah.
Look at that.
But that's a New England band. That, it's closest you ever come to a Boston band. But these are the bigger acts that are starting to blow up, and this happens like every couple of years. So I think that this is going to continue to happen. Like unless something drastically changes, this is what will happen. Like certain, a
It'll
couple
be a
of the
wave.
cream is going to rise to the top. Is what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
just like what happened with Cousin Stiz.
Same thing on the hip hop level. Cousin Sis, Mo Christmas.
Mhm.
It
It was most definitely a wave.
Who else would you say? Who would you say that is like blowing up right now, or like on the rise for hip hop and like locally?
On the rise.
Yeah.
To be honest, like, and I don't even mean to sound political, but there's just so many. We just put up a song on our Instagram. We just wanted to make sure it didn't seem like we were putting up the Grammys, but
Yeah.
we put up 27 songs that we bumped out of Boston this year,
Word.
and they're all kids from just different pockets, all over the city.
If you had to spit 3 of them out, like who would you say?
Who would
top
you
3?
say? Donald. Do you know Donald Grunge? He's been in Middle East a bunch.
Grunge.
That's his last name. I only met him in passing. He just put out a really, really good tape, man.
Donald Grunge. I'll have to check him out.
I don't know. I also don't want to discredit all like people who are like putting out good music. The kid. One thing is the kid who opened my show this summer. His name's K Merck. I just have like such a faith in him. You know, K Merck.
K Merck.
He's from Cambridge. I just have like crazy, crazy faith in him. And when you say on the rise, do you mean not established yet? Because there are big artists like Joyner Lucas just got nominated for a Grammy.
Yeah.
That's huge.
I think he's like the locally
the pinnacle.
Yeah, right now.
Did he ever have a show at the Middle East?
I don't know if he's ever played there, but I know he's played Worcester obviously because he's from there. But
Well, yeah. I mean, it was interesting because he kind of like left. He had to kind of leave to like grow his career.
right.
But he
Who's that other kid? I can't think of his name right now. It's a younger kid. He's been on Hot 97. You know what I'm talking about? He just put an album out, I think, or video. Kind of young. I just can't think of his name right now.
Bix. I mean, we're the same at this point. I literally know every artist in the city, so I have no clue.
Yeah, it will come to me maybe. But so not like a Joyner Lucas level, but who would you say is like heading that way?
You got me stunned, man.
Yeah.
What?
Problem is they don't have the marketing.
So they
Well,
come
yeah,
out-
that's just my big thing. It's just
Yeah.
like I met a lot of good people. I think a lot of people need to start developing their team. Because like you need someone who's gonna manage you.
Yeah.
For sure.
Right.
And market and be able to talk to people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
I feel like we should honestly just start a label, Jack. But where's the money?
It's hard, man. It's a hard business.
It's fun though, man.
You definitely need money. You're gonna need some money to play with.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Also, shout out to South. Obligated. So he actually has a great tape coming out.
Is it EP or like what are they?
No, it's like 13 songs.
full length.
And he did most of the production. There's a lot of kids getting. There's a couple figures in Boston which people don't know about, but I know about. But most people know about. But it's there are a couple individuals who have a direct tie to these huge platforms like Lyrical Lemonade or Elevator, and
What are those things? I don't know those.
so Lyrical Lemonade started out as this. Actually, he's a director. His name's Cole Bennett, and he started making stylistically his own music videos, and it got really popular. So he then built like a huge, pretty much like just a music enterprise. Runs a huge blog through Lyrical Lemonade, throws huge events, and shoots all the biggest music videos. So there's a blog that's huge now that's associated with it. So there's a couple of writers from Boston who will pull up Boston artists and put them on it.
So Lyrical Lemonade is based out of Boston,
Chicago.
but there's writers from Boston.
There's writers from Boston that touch on the scene. Then there's also Elevator, which is a huge YouTube channel, and it's pretty much underground music. So there's a kid. I've actually never met Pistola, but
is that reggaeton? What is that?
no, he's a rapper.
Okay.
So he actually got a song on there this time last year. I think I had heard it for the first time, and it got over 2 million plays now.
Cool.
Because the platform is so big itself.
Yeah.
But But there are kids that are out of here that are like doing really cool shit, but it's not collective. You know what I'm saying? And now I feel like, look at that.
Someone try to get at you.
My shorty. Whoa. Might have to end the interview. I don't know, man. I feel like sometimes I'm up here and I have like I sound pessimistic. I just like kind of like get into the root of the level. I'm like really excited for what's going on.
I thought you were gonna direct that at me. That I was, because we had this conversation before. You know that you said that I sound like an old head.
You are an old head. She's like, dude, they're not rapping about anything up here, man.
I mean,
he's like
lyrical content is important.
He's like the new rap is. He also called Drizzy trash. Come on, bro.
No, I actually, to be honest with you, I think Drake is very talented. I like Drake.
Oh, he's going political now. That's not what you were saying.
No, I didn't at the time when we talked. I was kind of like, yeah, it's trash. But I've been listening to him a lot more lately.
Incredible, man.
He's very talented, but I honestly think most of his stuff is not really about anything important.
Well, he makes
very
pop
talented.
records. You got to go in his albums and start
Yeah.
pulling out some of those off-album cuts to beautiful, beautiful music, man.
I mean, he's gone through a lot of drama recently, and like, did you see that he LeBron has that barbershop?
Yeah.
He was like, I watched an interview with him on that, and like, I had a different perspective from him after watching that, like
A better perspective or
better perspective of Drake as a person, because I feel like Drake as a person is a little bit different than Drake the artist.
Well, I think you also being, I don't want to attest it to like your religious belief, but there's a lot of like, I feel like when people say bitch and like hoe in music, like you hate it.
I don't see. Here's the thing. I don't hate people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a Christian.
Mm-hmm.
I don't hate people, and the gospel doesn't preach hate. What I hate is sin, and that's what God hates. Actually, is sin.
Mm-hmm.
It's not people. Sin is the problem. So when you talk about people, especially women, in that way, it's not right.
Bitches and drugs.
Women are not bitches
Mhm.
or hoes or anything like that.
But it's cultural.
it's-
You
it's-
get that though, right?
It's not. That's not, honestly, it's not an excuse though. Like you should never treat a woman that way. You should never talk about a woman that way. It's classless. Like I mean, it's not even just classless. It's just wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, when these artists are doing that all the time, they're expressing themselves in the way they want to express themselves, but they're also, these young kids are listening to this.
Well, I think that's
so
part of the
then it
issue. Someone
becomes-
it's just people learned it.
People are becoming, these kids are being taught that it's okay and it's good to actually think this way and talk like this, and
Desensitized.
they're being desensitized and they're being trained to do wrong. It's like, where are the artists that are actually uplifting children and empowering them to do the right thing?
It's just not popular.
It's a reward system.
Popular and what the right thing is, they're not always the same.
I know, but this is like that's a societal talk.
Sometimes it's like, it might seem like it's hard to do the right thing, but it's always better.
Do the right thing said.
What?
Spike Lee.
Spike
Spike
Lee,
Lee.
yeah.
I saw him on the ferry. Did I tell you that, Jack?
Did you talk to him?
Yeah, he's like kind of.
He's a Lakers. Was he a Knicks fan or a Lakers fan? No,
Knicks. Of course, I had the Knicks.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're gonna kick me out soon.
Oh.
So this is how we start and end these episodes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you once. I'm not gonna tell you twice. You say hi. My name. You can say Lionel Train, Lionel Brown, whatever you want to say. And this is my golden hour. Directly after zero break. Hi, I'm Lionel Train, and that was my golden hour.
So I'm gonna say hi. My name is Lionel Train, and this is Golden Hour.
You almost said Brown.
I did. Hi, my name is Lionel Train, and this is Golden Hour. That's what you want me to do?
No, this is and that was. Because we're going to put one piece at the start
Yeah.
of the video and then one piece at the end.
So this is and that was in the same sentence.
No.
Two different.
This is actually the most hilarious bit of the show. It's like, well, because at the end of this season, I'm going to cut up, I'll have do a little montage of everybody trying to do this. So this is, hi, I'm Lionel Train Brown. This is my golden hour. Hi, I'm Lionel Train. That was my golden hour.
So two different sentences.
Yes. And if you fuck up, man. Me and you are done for good.
So then we done then.
But make sure you address the camera and put your sauce on it however you want to do it.
My sauce? Okay.
The L Train
You want
sauce.
my sauce on this.
Whenever you're ready.
Okay. Hi, my name is Lionel Train, and this is The Golden Hour.
Oh, keep going.
Hi, my name is Lionel Train, and that was The Golden Hour.
Blew it.
I
Blew
messed
it.
up.
But we'll go with it. It's fine.
How did I mess up?
No, it's this is my golden hour. This is yours, man. Take ownership.
Let me get another take.
Go ahead. We're still running.
Hi, my name is Lionel Train, and this is my golden hour.
Ownership. Masculinity.
Yeah.
But then you got to say that was my golden hour. You're still blowing it.
Hi, my name is Lionel Train, and that was my golden hour.
Vix, is that a green mark checkpoint? All right.
Hey, yo, boy friend the op, he a